In this episode, we have Priscilla, a passionate and forward-thinking home baker who started an online baking business 11 years ago called Cupsize C Bakery to share with us the ins and outs of home baking business. Coming up next. I think it's the branding that you are really working on, what do you want to be known as? But like you said, like it will take time. But in the long
It takes
run,
times.
after 11 years, I think you are really in the best position to see that, you're reaping the rewards in a sense.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
takes times like youngsters, now they are looking for fast cash. I mean, yeah, who don't?
yep,
Who don't?
yeah,
If I belong, if let's say I'm born 20 years later,
yeah.
I'm like today I'm only like 20 or this, I'll be looking at what the youngsters are looking for, because this is their generation,
Yeah.
But I think in terms of business, cannot lah. They have to recognize, that it doesn't work that way. Like you say, branding. You wouldn't want to build up something. You don't want to spend your time 3-4 years building up something, and then at the end of the day, when you calculate, my net profit is only this little, and you just threw it aside. Then
Okay.
that couple of years is wasted lah.
Yeah, true,
It may
true.
be a lesson learned, but would not be enough. It will not be enough. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
so for youngsters, advice to them is you have to press on.
yeah,
You
yeah,
you have to you really have to plan, long run, not
yeah,
short term.
yeah. In
Short
fact, I
term,
think,
short term, then short term, go for investment.
yeah. In fact, short
Yeah.
term is very transactional. Like I buy your
Yeah.
cake, that's it, full stop. There is
Yeah,
nothing.
that's right.
Yeah, correct, correct. So, what is one? I know just now you mentioned that starting the business, your husband was a very strong supporter. The community of bakers helping one another is also your second strongest, most important support line in your business. Is there
Mm.
other resources or other people that have come alongside you for this 11 years to support you very, play a very important role?
I will still say is family.
Mm,
Mm.
okay.
Because whether you like it or not, they are your families. So
Yep.
whatever feedback they give you,
Mm,
you can't be angry with them. You can't just chuck them out of your life.
yep.
So till today, of course, there are a lot of many others people who come along,
Yep.
who
Yep.
encourage you, like friends and all this.
Yeah.
But family is still the most important, because without them recognizing you first,
Yeah.
um,
True.
you you will never get past it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
course, like yourself.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
a lot of people are saying that, who are the most important people who help you? So we will start thinking about family lah, friends lah, this so and so, that so and so. But actually, for me, most importantly, I think it's myself first.
That's true.
I
That's very
have
true.
to so-called brainwash myself,
Yep.
get past my own mindset. Like the
Mm.
saying always goes that you are your biggest competitor.
Mm.
Yeah. So if you cannot even get past yourself, you cannot even
Yeah.
help yourself, then God can send thousands of people who help you every day, but you
Mm.
can't. Then of
Yeah.
course, as a Christian, I would say that I'm very, very thankful for
Yep.
God's blessings. He brings
Mm.
people around me. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is very important. I think all these are very fundamentals. Of course, finances are important to start the business, but finances aside, I think the people surrounding you giving us the encouragement, and like I think you hit the nail on the head when you say that we ourselves have to tell ourselves that we can do it.
yes.
I think that one, and it's a constant daily thing, right?
Yes, constant, because there will be days where
Oh,
it's just bad, like
okay.
whatever you bake, it's just down the drain, and you'll be fighting
Mm,
for time. You'll be like, you have to handle families, you have to handle kids, you have to
mm,
handle all the orders. So planning is one very important thing, but also have to understand that there definitely going to be bad days. So when these kind of days hit, right, people will give up. It's very easy, you know, just pick up the call, you know, make some excuse to your customer. Hey, I'm sorry, my oven break down. Or, you know, I'm so hungry. You know, something happened at home. But that's very irresponsible thing to do because they don't give you the order now. They put in the order like you know, few weeks or even months ago. So you have to
fulfill that.
You have to you have to fulfill it to get past it. You have to recognize that there's bad days, that there are times where you just want to throw in the towel. But you have to always take time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, sit down, breathe, and ask yourself, why am I in this? Why did I started it 11 years ago? So once you constantly, every day, remind yourself, then I think even if the worst day hit, you'll still be able to do it. You just have to believe.
True. In fact, I think just now you also mentioned that it's something that, like for us, like for myself who don't bake, we really don't know that actually there are days when the baking just doesn't go right. Correct, yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Is that one of the most common misconception that people have about home baking business? That, wow, I want to bake today, everything sweet come out, you know, everything will be nice and pretty. Is that one of the misconception that you say?
Yes. A lot of people will think that, hey, as long as I get the recipe, I can do it. So if that baker can, why I can't, you know? Okay lah, I mean, recipe won't go wrong, but what will go wrong will definitely be the techniques. You know, like people will say, oh, you have to, very common, people will say you have to fold in the flour. So they'll be like, huh? What is folding in? Never mind, I just dump everything then mix, right? Your results will really come out different because these are technical terms that you need to know, you know. Even for like other professions, I'm sure that y'all will have other professional terms to use, which people will not understand. But they will think that it's easy, what, you know, especially for baking, everything dumped in at one bowl. But yeah, there are one bowl recipes, but it's the how you do it, and they also think that you just chuck into the oven, but you know, every oven has their own temperament. My oven may work best at 170 degrees, but your oven may work at 180 degrees, and they could be the same brand, same model. You know, it's just like no two human beings are exactly the same. So the same goes to technology as well. You know, so this is one myth that you know we want to bust. Then second myth that I really want to bust is to consumers out there. They will always say that, hey, home baker ma, why your cake so expensive? You know, if you are charging me like $80 for strawberry shortcake, I can get 2 from 4 Leaves, you know. So people always think that, you know, home baker, you have no overheads. You know, you don't have to operate like 24/7 or something. You don't have to adhere to a lot of restrictions. Why are you charging it so expensive? Then they will come and say, wow, too expensive lah. You think you're what? You know, we do get comments. When I first started, I do get comments like that. Yeah. But to represent most home bakers here, I want to tell you that all the more home bakers' products are more expensive because we really take time, take heart to craft up every single cupcakes, or even cookies, you know, and we use premium ingredients. When we get our ingredients, even at wholesale, we don't get the price that really big names, big commercial bakeries get.
That's true.
So these are all costs. So yeah, this is one thing I believe all home bakers want to bring across.
Actually, if you don't share, I also wouldn't know. So I'm really very thankful to hear that from you, because many people think that, oh, home baking really good money at home. You just wake up, you just bake, and then you just sell. It's really not so easy. I mean, you just need to talk about techniques, you talk about knowing to know your oven and whatsoever. Well, I can imagine actually it's already very, like they call it artisanal already. You know, if people are willing to pay top dollars for the artisanal, I don't know, coffee, and actually the same goes for cakes, because it is a piece of art for every single piece of cake.
Yeah. And home bakers, we don't get salary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we really
Exactly.
don't get salary. We only really, I think those who started off as home bakers, right? We are really not out there to
Yeah.
really want to make thousands of dollars every month. You know,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
we
yeah.
really want to bring joy to people when they eat
Yes,
that
yes, yes.
that piece of art, like you say,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
that piece of art. So we are not we don't mind spending days decorating that cake, because at the end of the day, when we see our customers coming to collect and then they send us photos and say, yeah, look at the cake, we take nice photos and us, that is the joy, that is our
Yes.
salary already.
Oh,
Yeah.
well said, well said. Yeah, no, it's the sense of fulfillment actually supersedes any monetary gains. I mean, of course, we need to be practical, we need to pay our
Mm,
bills and etc. But beyond that, lah, I think it's really
yeah.
the difference that we can make in someone's life just for that few minutes, you know, as they
Mm, true.
as they eat. Yeah, really, really. So yeah. So just one last question that I'm just curious would be, how has the COVID situation sort of impacted not just maybe your business but generally home baking business? You know, is there any?
Mm, definitely lesser orders,
Okay.
because you know, there will be more home bakers coming up during this period.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, that's true.
but of
That's
course
true.
we are not. That's not the main point lah. But this
Mm.
during this COVID season, I think for start, the getting of ingredients is an issue.
Ah, okay, okay,
Ingredient supply is an issue for home bakers, because like I
okay.
mentioned before, we even though if we get wholesale price, but priority doesn't come to us, you know,
Yep, yep,
because the
yep.
volume will not be that huge. I can't be ordering
Yeah,
100 kg of flour every week, you
yeah,
know.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Then also because on the self collection and delivery, um,
Mm.
I think on the safe side, all of us will just want to protect our families as well as our customer families. Like you never know, especially
Mm.
during this second wave. It's like it's kind of like airborne. You never know, and we can't just leave the kids like outside the door.
Yes, yes, yes,
Like
yes.
yeah, you know. So
Yep.
this is one thing lah. Delivery
Mm.
also one thing, and we have to rely on courier,
Yep.
and maybe our normal courier who help us may not be available as last time as well.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
definitely for me personally, I will not resort to like maybe Q Express,
Yeah,
Lala
of
Move,
course.
all
Yeah,
this, because you will not feel safe. Yeah.
understand.
So I
Yes.
think during this period, the delivery to customers,
Mm.
that is the biggest hit lah. That will see
Okay.
why is there a decline in orders.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. But I think you have rightfully mentioned. I think one thing that we didn't really think about is the ingredients. I
Mm.
think everything is in a shortage.
Yes.
So that really but the delivery you will usually get someone else to the couriers like you're saying to do it
Yes,
for.
yes.
Okay. Okay.
We
Yeah.
do have, I believe every home baker, we have a reliable courier,
Yeah. Yeah.
courier
Oh, okay.
person who will help us. And they are like experienced in handling food.
I
That's very
see.
important for us.
Yeah. Yes.
That's very important.
From three
I
tier become one tier.
mean, yeah. Or you know, from a straight cake become like a leading tower, you
Tower
know.
of Eiffel.
So that one's very very important, and which is also why the courier delivery fee will be much higher.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
because you really need
Yep.
the reliability. Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
so
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
customer have to understand that lah, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. 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 I mean, as we come to the end, where can audience find cup size C cupcakes?
Yeah, they can follow my IG. Yeah,
Yes.
IG you can search for cup size cupcakes,
Okay.
cup size C. Yeah. Then we also have Facebook. Yeah, we also
Okay.
have Facebook. Also, like Facebook page, you just key in cup size cupcakes, you'll be able to look for us, and all my contact details are inside. So they can
Okay.
just WhatsApp me, Telegram. You know, we do, now in this era, yeah,
Yeah.
we used to have emails, but
Yeah.
seriously now
Yeah.
not a lot of people use email. So Telegram, WhatsApp, IG, PM, all these.
Okay.
Although we may not have a lot of photos or pictures on the account, we are working towards it. I am still learning, and I'm
Yeah,
still
yeah, yeah.
trying my best. Then, but yeah, do follow us because we will do postings every day.
Yes. Yeah.
Then stories as well.
Okay.
And
I will
then
definitely
any
link.
then
Yeah, yeah,
any
yeah.
updates will also be from mainly on the IG account.
Okay. So I will also link all the links in the description box so that anyone, please go and look for cup size C cupcakes for the good bakes. We know that the as you mentioned, I think all your bakes are really filled with a lot of effort, a lot of attention, and they're all fresh. So really, thank you, Priscilla, for spending the time with us. Thank you for sharing that, the ins and outs of being a home baker. I think really you've debunk many of the myths that a lot of us have, and for sharing that actually, being open-minded, I think being subjective, knowing that taste is subjective, but every moment of being able to bring joy to the customers is what is really in your heart lah. I think that
Yeah.
is, most important. So thank you once again, Priscilla, for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you.
having me.